Despite years of bold claims from Moscow about next-generation weaponry, many of Russia's most publicized military projects have failed to meet expectations. From advanced tanks kept away from the front to warships sunk by drones, these high-profile systems reveal the widening gap between Russian military propaganda and battlefield performance, says United 24 media outlet. As Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine grinds on, the costs to its forces remain severe. Hundreds of soldiers are reported killed each day. Warplanes largely avoid the front line. Armored vehicles are routinely destroyed, and the Black Sea Fleet has been pushed into remote ports. On many sections of the front, Russia's advances have relied heavily on high-risk infantry assaults, troops moving on foot or using motorcycles and even scooters, supported by improvised logistics that at times involve donkeys. For the past 15 years, the Armata tank has been a flagship of Russian propaganda. It was hailed as the best in the world, printed on postage stamps and slated for mass procurement. 2,300 units for the Russian army. In December 2021, the Russian state-owned defense conglomerate Rostec claimed that serial production had begun, and in 2024, officials announced that the tank had already entered service. However, it appears that the PR campaign and the tank itself are distinct entities. Eventually confronted with reality, even Russian officials admitted the truth. The Armata is unsuitable for war, said former Roscosmos State Corporation head Dmitry Rogozin in an interview with propagandists from the Russian news platform Politnavigator. This was the same Rogozin who, in 2015, claimed the Armata is a giant leap in our tank building, a challenge we have thrown at our competitors who believed their armor was far superior to ours. Russia first unveiled its so-called fifth-generation Su-75 Checkmate light fighter jet in 2021 at the Max Airshow and the Dubai Airshow, both times as a mock-up. In the more than 4 years since, not much has changed. Russia further claims the Checkmate can detect and engage fifth-generation fighters at long ranges using onboard electronic warfare systems. But Russia currently lacks avionics capable of detecting F-35s or F-22s before those aircraft can launch air-to-air missiles at a Russian fighter. Moreover, the range of US standard air-to-air missiles exceeds that of their Russian counterparts. Russian long-range missiles are effective only when supported by airborne early warning aircraft, such as the A-50. But Russia has only about a dozen of those, several of which Ukraine has already destroyed or damaged. United 24 Media says the BMP-T Terminator armored fighting vehicle is a real-life vehicle that has been used in combat in Ukraine. Recently, Russia delivered a new batch of Terminators to its army. The 2025 models feature more reactive armor and additional side protection. New promotional videos were released to highlight the vehicle's firepower. The result was the opposite. Ukraine sank Russia's new project, 22160 vessel Sergei Kotov, on March 5, 2024, using Magura V-5 naval drones. The strike also destroyed a Ka-29 helicopter aboard the ship. Even Russian experts admit it. Project 22160 is the most failed naval ship project in modern Russian history. Its shortcomings not only outweigh its advantages, there are no advantages at all. Minimal displacement led to inadequate seaworthiness. The modular weaponry was never developed or produced, leaving the ships in service with laughable armament, a 76mm gun and a couple of 14.5mm machine guns. PAC-DA stands for Prospective Aviation Complex for Long-Range Aviation. Development began in 2008, and the aircraft was initially promoted as a fifth-generation bomber. Over time, Russia began referring to it as sixth generation. Russia faces enormous challenges with stealth technology. Even the Su-57 does not meet low observability standards, let alone a 145-ton strategic bomber. Moreover, Washington and Europe have imposed sweeping sanctions on electronics, machining equipment, and composite material technologies, making it highly likely, experts say, that the PAC-DA will remain nothing more than a paper airplane that never flies.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky struck a defiant note on Saturday as the country commemorated the Great Famine that Soviet leader Joseph Stalin imposed on Ukraine in the early 1930s, which led to millions of deaths. We all know how and why millions of our people died, starved to death, and millions were never born. And we are once again defending ourselves against Russia, which has not changed and is once again bringing death, according to Associated Press. Zelensky said in a post on Telegram marking Holodomor Memorial Day. We defend, and will always defend Ukraine. Because only here is our home. And in our home, Russia will definitely not be the master, Zelensky added. Officials say a fire that spread through pavilions being used for UN climate talks in Brazil has prompted evacuations on the next to last day of the conference, but nobody was hurt. According to Associated Press, organizers said the fire was under control and caused no injuries. Firefighters and security teams responded promptly and continue to monitor the site. Brazil's tourism minister Celso Sabino told journalists at the scene that the fire started near the China Pavilion, which was among several pavilions set up for events on the sidelines of the climate talks. Much of the summit venue in Belém was still under construction right up until the conference opened, with exposed beams, open plywood floors and metal meshed-in corridors leading nowhere outside the convention center. During a pre-summit event, drilling and jackhammering could be heard as world leaders delivered speeches and scores of workers in hard hats scurried around unfinished pavilions shrouded in plastic.